I had Mexican rice with avocado and tomato and a tortilla with eggs. It was actually pretty sick.
Nice. What's Mexican rice?
It is rice that you cook normally, except instead of 2 parts water and 1 part rice, it's 1 part rice, 1 part water, 1 part salsa,
Okay.
tomatoes, bell peppers, and love.
My name is Taylor Vick. I was born and raised in Manteca, California of the Central Valley. But now I live in San Francisco, and I live in the Sunset District of San Francisco. Like, if I were to live anywhere in San Francisco, it would be the Sunset. It's great. It's quiet. The houses are beautiful. They're all different colors. It's about how quiet it is. I love that. It feels like I'm not in a city, and it's by the ocean and Golden Gate Park.
My name is Rose Droll. I grew up in Modesto in the Central Valley, and now I live in San Francisco, also in the Sunset District.
How do you find the Sunset District?
I like it. I've been there for a little over 5 years. I liked it a lot when I moved there initially, and I still like it a lot. I think it's beautiful. I live a couple blocks from the beach.
I perform under Boy Scouts, which is a name I chose when I was 16. and I never changed it. I don't know. Never thought of anything better. And I used to perform under my own name, but I really didn't like that. My brother, Travis Vick, performed under his own name, and I feel like my whole like high school and elementary school experience, I was always like Travis's sister. So I just want to be like different, you know? I didn't want to be just Travis's sister. Wanted to be something else separately. So that's probably why I changed, or didn't want to just go by my name. And I play guitar. And sometimes I play solo, but usually with a band now, which is really cool and funner. When I record a song, I'll write the other parts, and then there's not really much teaching going on with at our practices because everybody that I play with is really good, and my songs are not that complex, so they just know how to play them, the parts.
I forget how we met, but when I was I think 17 or something, I was already listening to her brother's music, and then on MySpace I found a link to Travis's little sister's music, and so I listened to it, and I called my best friend, and I was like, oh my God, Travis's little sister's 14 or 15 and she's really good. It's insane. But that's how I first heard of her music, and I really thought it was insanely good, especially for the fact that she was a freshman or a sophomore in high school, which is just beyond me. And then eventually we started singing together.
I don't remember meeting you, really. But I remember the first time I saw you play, it was at the open mic at Queen Bean, and in my memory, you were playing an instrumental piece, but when I talked to you about that, you don't remember ever playing just instrumental, so maybe you just were singing quietly, or it was loud where I was standing or something, but I remember being super drawn into it. I was really like, wow, this is freaking cool. And then I don't remember how much time passed, but I remember you invited me over to like play a show, play with you for a show, play like organ parts, and you were going to play guitar. And that was the first time we hung out. And I remember that, going to Modesto to your house and learning your songs for like a few hours.
I don't know if you feel the same, but I do. I feel like we write in the same way, where we record and layer a bunch of stuff on our own, and then that's what we try to do live, as opposed to just having like, I don't know, I guess some people like write like a guitar track or something and then have a bunch of other people do like kind of make the song come alive and do their own parts and write their own stuff or something, and that sounds nice, but that's not what I do. It's not what I can do. Well, maybe it is what I can do, but I record everything on my own and layer it and then bring other people in and then have them do the same parts, just like Taylor does. It sounds kind of weird to say it this way, I guess. Maybe I should phrase it different, but I get kind of stressed out about it because every time I sit down or like pick up a guitar or sit down in front of the piano or anything, I just like start writing, and it's kind of like it's like as natural as breathing, and so as a consequence I just like write a lot of songs, and I always have, and it hasn't really slowed down over the years. I can like get down on myself and say I'm not writing as much as I used to, which I say a lot, but I record everything as I write it, and the reality is that I always just have a bunch of stuff. I try to write every day, but even when I don't try, I just end up writing anyway, because I like playing, and I don't know, making stuff up is really easy for me, and I enjoy it so much. So there's that. But those the collection of stuff that I put up on Bandcamp was just stuff from 2011 when I lived in Seattle, and it was just like 30 or 40 songs that I never did anything with. And that was the start of me I did that a couple months ago, and that was just me trying to get some old stuff out because I don't know why I didn't never put it out before. But that's a small part of a bigger collection of songs that I plan to just do that with. Put songs from other years that I never released and just put them up there so people can download them if they want.
no lock upon the gate, like a different state, like a needle in the hay, like I could ask it to go away.
As much as Rose. I wish that I could. That would be awesome. But I don't know. I'm really particular about like moments that I feel creative. Like it doesn't. I hate trying to like force it. And sometimes I'll be like, I feel like writing. I kind of want to write, like, you know, play something, whatever. But then I don't know. It just has to happen really extremely naturally for me. It's like it's really. I don't know, black or white. Like sometimes I'll just pick up a guitar or whatever and like play something and then just like write a song instantly, and it's weird. I don't know. I don't really know how to better describe it, but and then anytime that's not that, and if I'm trying to, it just doesn't work, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop trying. But it just has to feel like I'm not trying for me to like what I make. And that doesn't happen that much, but it's okay with me because I don't know, it just feels normal. But
do you write the music or lyrics first?
The music first. I've only written one song not like that, but I wrote the lyrics during class one time and then I put chords to it. But that's like never happens.
Rosie, what do you write first?
Mainly the music first, I think. I'll come up with like 2 chords I think sound cool together, and then I write all the lyrics generally.
Yeah.
And then I finish writing the music, I think, is how it works out most of the time. Sometimes I'll do the lyrics first, but I don't like writing poetry or like feeling like I'm writing poetry, so I like to do the music first. I like to play the piano more, but I like to write on the guitar more, and I don't know why. Well, I've thought about it a lot, actually. Maybe I do know why. But on the piano, I know a lot more because I've studied it for a very long time. And so I know a lot about the theory of it and stuff. And I can see everything that's going on. And ironically, that takes away from being creative, I think, a lot of the time, because I know exactly where to go to make everything sound a certain way. And for the guitar, I still mess up all the time because I can't ever remember where the frets are and like what chord is what. So like it's more like I'm playing a little more blindly when I play the guitar, and so as a result I can come up with stuff that's a little more surprising, I guess, to me in terms of chord progressions if I play on the guitar or if I write on the guitar. So I like to generally do that and then layer and then do the piano after.
Mount Home Arts like put out the album that I made. So they did like the physical, distribution of the album, and it's also up on my Bandcamp for free, but like they did the physical part, and which is cool. I'd never released anything to a tape before. And I don't know, I think the coolest thing about like having it released on a label is like just having a connection with these folks that are over there like doing really cool things with music on the East Coast. Like I was able to go over there in September of last year to Philadelphia and New York and play shows with Tim, who plays music and runs the label, partly runs it. So yeah, I went over there and played a few shows with him, and that was super cool. And then he came over here a few months ago and played shows on the West Coast, and I joined him for that tour as well. And it's been really cool kind of like connecting worlds over there and here. That's like the best part about it for me. I was interested in the label that they had started with. It was like Tim and two other people. I had heard about it from one of the members, Eliza, one of her like music projects that I was like super blown away by. I love her music. It's called Whatever Dad, but now it's called 100%. It's like a different project, I guess, but her music's amazing. So I heard about
Dad
that.
is a great name.
Yeah, whatever, Dad. Yeah. Great. Really, really beautiful stuff. So I'd heard about it, and I had seen their website, and they were doing these really cool like split releases where all the proceeds would go to like a specific like organization of the artist's choice where they wanted the money to go to, which I thought was really cool, and I'd never seen anything like that before, and that really like struck me. And so I reached out to them and was like, what you guys are doing is like so amazing. I think this is awesome. Here's a song of mine if you ever want to listen to it or like do something, whatever. And they wrote me back and were like really happy that I reached out, because I guess they hadn't been ever getting emails like that. They said that a lot of the emails they got were just like generic, like dudes like, hey, listen to my band. Yeah. So it was cool. It was Tim that wrote back to me. The series was called Visiting Waters, and they did like 3 or 4, I think 3 releases, 2 artists, and yeah, so that's how I got connected with them. And then they were like, hey, we're gonna be merging with Mount Home Arts. And then I was like, I have like 12 songs. I want to put out an album. Do you guys want to help me? Or like say that you're putting it out, basically. And they're like, yeah. And then it was cool. I didn't have to like, I don't know. You hear about people on like big labels, like those people have like a say in what you're releasing, and I don't want that. Yeah. And they didn't want that. So it was really like worked out great.
I don't care if I lose a game. I'm not called to be a winner. Still, I don't know how to deal with loss, even though I'm no beginner. I could cough up a line for you, or keep a pair of your old shoes, or write this song for you. In lack of having something better to do, to numb the feelings that I've acquired whenever I think of your death. tired. I know I'm not the only one who ignores these thoughts like blemishes on skin hangs on with the daylight. There's nothing to say to the hole where you bury, or the sea where you scattered. God, I'm feeling heavy, overflowing matter. Now there's a lack of you. It's all too sad and all too true, and there's a lack of you. There's a lack of me and everybody else too.
Like every once in a while, that'll be the case where like people will be like mildly interested in doing something, but nothing's ever really come to fruition.
Is that something you want? Like, is that like?
I don't know.
Yeah, like
I think it would be nice in like when I look at other people doing that, it seems nice. But when I think about it myself, I get kind of like stressed out, and kind of feels more natural to just kind of just keep writing and recording in my bedroom. So ideally, I'd like to like get out of that mindset a little bit and be like everyone else and like make a record or something. But I keep going like, what's the point, sort of a thing, you know? Like if I'm happy just recording and listening to it myself with like a couple of my friends, I kind of get like nervous about what the point of reaching a wider audience is. So that's something I keep like kind of keeps me back. But ideally, it would be really cool to like tour and do albums, and that's my goal if I can get my stuff together.
I don't know. Whenever I hear a song that Rose shows me of hers, I'm like super inspired always instantly, and I'm like, yeah, that's like a huge inspiration for me. That always has been. She's always like sent me songs of hers over the years in emails, so like I have like hundreds of her songs, which is really cool. My brother's music as well is super inspiring to me. I think it's like amazing. I don't know, like one of my favorite bands is the band Y, which is kind of like a hip hop, weird music thing, but I don't sound anything like that at all, but when I hear that, I'm inspired.
When I listen to other people's songs, I like, it's the same as when I have conversations with people, like on a friendship kind of level. I like talking about things as opposed to just not talking about things. In terms of like, I like having conversations with people and there being like a point to our conversation instead of just talking about things that don't really matter. I like one-on-one conversations with people where we're actually talking about things that make a difference in some way, or just I like knowing people's opinion on things that I think matter. And so in music, I look for the same things. Like I like Taylor songs because there's a lot of lines that she writes in her songs that seem like lines that I would just like say to myself when I'm like walking down the street thinking thoughts in my head and stuff. And I like that because there's a lot of music that I feel lyrically doesn't touch on anything that actually moves me in any way. So that's what I like about that style of writing, and I find that a lot in her music and Travis's and a lot of other people who grew up in the same area. There's like maybe like 6 or 7 or 8 people from that time, like 8 years ago or something, who maintain the same kind of style of writing that I really resonate with. And as a consequence of growing up that way musically, I kind of search that out now. But I'm not living there anymore, and like everyone's moved away and everything is different. And so everywhere that I do live, or all the music I do listen to, I find myself still looking for the same qualities of in music that I grew up with. I think that'd be really cool, but like currently I'm in her band and she's in mine.
Yeah.
So there's like that, but like that'd be really cool if we did that. Like a 50-50 collaboration.
Yeah.
We kind of did that once when I sent her a track that I did, and then she wrote a set of lyrics to it when she lived in New York, and then I wrote a set of lyrics to it, and then I took both versions and I mishmashed them and made them like 2 songs in one kind of a thing, or like half and half, and that was the closest that we've come to it, but I did all the instrumentation, so that wasn't quite the same thing, but
Yeah.
that was really, really fun, and I think about that often.